In the last rare item review, we talked about elemental brooms, and you can't talk about elemental brooms without talking about clouds, so that's what this one's going to be about. Now, clouds were introduced in Yule 2012, the event right after elemental brooms, and they went in speeds from 0 to 75%. And I know what you're thinking, 0% cloud? That's kinda weird. Well, it is. It's only one of two events to ever do so, the first one being Halloween 2011 with brooms. The 0% clouds were dropped by snowstorm spirits. Basically, level 2 clouds would just float around Lur's Reach, and you can kill them. They would always drop snowballs, but very, very rarely you can get a 0% cloud or a Yuletide cloud hat from them. And the Yuletide cloud hat was basically just a normal white Yule hat, but it had a lightning effect on it. But we're not talking about that this video. The shop mounts were 5 to 75%, and they range from 10 grand to 1 million gold. But you may be wondering, why are we here? In the middle of basically nowhere in Lur's Reach. Well, believe it or not, the mount vendor was basically right here by this waterfall. I remember that much at least. And he actually gave you a quest that you had to do in order to see the shop. Now, the mount trader being in Lur's Reach and having to give you a quest to see the shop, I'm pretty sure it's the only event that's ever happened. Because those are two very annoying things and confusing, so I guess they did away with it. The quest, well, look over here. Imagine this hill not being here and it just being like a flat surface. Basically just like plains land. There was little clouds floating around, I think they're called like bound clouds. And you killed them, and you get a cloud crystal. And you take that up to the vendor, and he'd open up the shop for you. Now, during release, there was a bunch of noobs just farming them and trying to sell them for like 1 grand each to people. I put an end to that pretty quickly. But eventually everyone got the shop opened. Now, looking at the mounts themselves, 0% cloud, it's worse than a 5% cloud's damage, but who cares, it's still a cloud. You know, you float around on it, it's super slow because it's 0%. I mean, this is literally max speed. It's kind of funny to troll around with. And this is a 70% cloud. I used to have a 75%, but I sold it. Wound up buying the 70% for 9 times as cheap, but hey, I mean, the fun thing is, this looks the exact same as the 75%. Mount, model, lightning effect, exactly the same. And the 70 and 75% have a proc skill, only 10% chance, but it deals up to 500 lightning damage, and the 75%'s 1,000. But lightning damage, that's just a fancy term for magic damage. It's not unresistible like you would think. So it's kinda crappy in that sense. Lightning effect's pretty big now, but it's more clear when I show you this, that the cloud effect of the cloud mount is kinda messed up. I mean, it looks like I'm just standing on 2 little baby clouds. I mean, that may be cool for some people, but overall people don't like that. See it as a nerf. Let me show you how they actually used to look back in the day. Now here's some various pictures from 2012 to 2013. Just look through them real quick. And, you know, it looks like a cloud would. It's got a nice cloud size. I don't know how else to explain it. And it looked good with the graphical update of 2013. Unless you used, of course, an iPod 2, which I did for a little while. Then it looks kind of crappy, but it still looks like a cloud. Then after the Unity update hit, they kind of messed things up. They made the cloud super big, and it was like waist size. And I mean, it's kind of cool, but it really defeats the purpose of standing on a cloud and not in a cloud. Then sometime after that, the middle of the cloud just disappeared and there was a hole in it. And you could see that kind of in this one picture. But now, you could really see it. And I don't think it was One Thumb Mobile's fault. I think it was more of an engine porting thing that just messed up the mounts. And I mean, the clouds could be fixed, but very few people own clouds, so I don't think that's a very big concern. But enough with bashing how it looks. Let's actually try out the proc skill of our 70%. We'll go to the other world so we can hit a training dummy. Now, the proc skill is actually AoE. It has about the range of a firestorm. And the mount itself will shoot out bolts of lightning. Pretty stylish there. Yeah, see? Furyion unleashes a deadly storm on training dummy. And I hit that one all the way over there. Pretty nice range, and pretty good for a caster if you want to just slam everything. But it's not that strong. About the rareness of clouds? Well, look at this, right? Now, a 75% is not that much more damage or resists or anything. But it costed 1,000,000 gold. Compare that with a Divine Broom. Divine Broom having regen and camo. You could see why clouds are rare. Especially when they're the event after Divine Brooms. The thing is, they thought that procs, oh, that would make casters good, and casters usually use mounts. So yeah, that's balanced for the money, right? Well, at the time, it kinda was. But it aged horribly. And it just fell out of style real quick. And people predicted this and just didn't buy clouds that often. So there's way more Divine Brooms than Thunderstorm Clouds on every world that I know of. But people did buy them for the style too, so that saved it. But not as much, because Divine Brooms were cool too. Well, in any case, my opinion on it, clouds, although they kind of got nerfed visually, they're still pretty cool, still pretty unique. Even though it copies the carpet style with the stance, it looks nice. It's not that good for casters, because 70% Dragon Staff is better, but it's still pretty good for leveling up. But you'd have to be really loaded in order to have the money to just spend on a 70% cloud. I mean, really. Probably rather play an auto mage. But it's a significant piece of history. And most collectors will be proud to have one. I know I kinda am. It's a nice mount. I like it. And that's all I can give you information-wise and commentary-wise for clouds. And I hope you enjoyed the video.